Hi everyone and welcome back to my second live. I did my first live, was it the previous week? I think so. So this is my second one and I'm going to show you the card I made with the new release from Lawn Fawn, of course. The rainy bears are so super cute. I saw in the chat that other people think it's very cute too, so I picked out a good set to do a live with. This is the set I'm talking about. I just love the little things in here, like the little frogs and all the splashes and the bears. So many options to make a scene. And I did it with a mini slimline. I actually didn't use the mini slimline from Lawn Fawn, the mini slimline sets. I used the frame from Flippin' Awesome. It's the add-on. So this is the scallop frame, and for the inside I used this one. And I jokingly said to my husband, it's a mini slimline because it's very small. I actually made an even smaller card yesterday and I just called it a mini slimline. I really like this one too. So that's the base of the card. With this set, the Beary Rainy Day. So let's start with the coloring. I stamped out the bear and the splashes and the drops. I did that with another color, as you can see. I did it with Memento Summer Sky. This Memento ink is also marker safe, alcohol marker safe, so you can color in the images without having the lines bleeding. Before I start the coloring, let me show you where the sentiment is from. Because in the set from the bears you have Make a Splash, but I used the Mermaid for You flip flop because I like this splash better. So that's the one I use for that. Let's put this aside and let's go to the coloring. I picked a yellow for the ring coat because that's just, for me it's just an iconic color for a raincoat, and I have a yellow raincoat myself, so that's why I went for yellow. I will put my my caps on the left so you can see which colors I'm using. If you have trouble seeing it, just tell me and I will tell you which color I'm using, because sometimes the light blocks the font a little, so you can't read what's on the cap. So I start out with my darkest yellow. Like that. Maybe something a little here and here. So what did you guys get from the new release? Did you also get the rainy bears, or did you get something else, or did you get multiple things? Let me know. I always love to see what other people get and what other people are making. So after I did the darkest color, I go over it with my lighter color to blend it out a little. And when I'm done with that, I can color in the whole part. Like that. With lighter colors I prevent going over the black lines if I can, because I notice sometimes the ink, even if it's Copic safe, it sometimes smudges a little with the lighter colors.
Fionella jokingly asks, do raincoats come in any other color? Which I guess is true because yellow is the default color for raincoats.
Yeah, it's really iconic.
Although Marcy does have a black raincoat, but that's no fun to color, they say.
Yeah, that's true. I'm now wondering why they chose yellow to make raincoats in. Does it have a purpose? But yeah, I like yellow raincoats. So now I'm going back with my darkest color, just to add a little more of the shadows. So that's that. Let's color the bear now. Let me see where I left my color chart. I always use the hex chart from Sandy Elnock, because you can really see what you can blend together. Like the neighboring colors are colors you can blend, and what it also gives me is a more of an idea of what I have and what I want to pick, and also you can see better what kind of colors you, even if they aren't next to each other, which colors you should be able to blend. So that's why I always use my hex chart, and I think I'm going for these two. And let's go ahead and pick the colors for his snout as well.
Melissa says that yellow could be because you could be seen better by cars, and Fionella also agrees that it's easier to be seen in gloomy weather.
Yeah, that's true, but they also could have picked a pink or a light blue, or I'm not sure why it has to be yellow, but I like it. I like it. So again, the darkest color first. When I saw this set, I just fell in love with it right away. I was just a little, yeah, I wanted to say angry, but that's not it, but a little upset that the umbrella isn't a separate stamp. So you have the umbrella when it's closed, but I would have loved to have this as a separate stamp. Although I finished up a card already that I'm not going to show yet because it's going to be my new video for coming Friday. And there I did a little trick to use the umbrella without being a separate stamp. So if you don't want to miss that, be sure to check back, or if you aren't subscribed yet, do so, so you don't miss my video with that. Let's go back with the darkest color again, just a little.
Let's see, Sophie Smith is joining, and they say they're so excited to see this set and get inspired.
Yeah, it's such a fun set. In general, you will be making rainy scenes because it's a rainy set, but I think there's so much stuff in there to really vary in those scenes, and that's what I like about it. So going back with the darkest color again, give it a little more shadow. Let's give him blushy cheeks. This is my new favorite for that since I got it. And now for the umbrella. Let's see, which red do I want to use? I think this one, and this one. So this is my darkest. It's so fun to pick different colors for the umbrella, like rainbow umbrella, or just pick one color to color all the parts with that. I went for the red and white combo, which also is a little bit of an iconic umbrella color. Although it might be more of a summer thing. Anyway, I like the accent it brings on the card. So I picked the red. Like that. And I go back in again with the darkest one.
Michelle would love a rainbow umbrella, and I agree. I think that would be great.
Yeah, that's something that's on my list to do. I have so many plans with the set.
And Fionella asks, how old are the square-bodied Copics? You cannot buy that style anymore.
Oh, you can. It's the classic Copic. They still are for sale, but not all craft stores and stuff have them. They are not as popular as the rest. So it's a bit of an off-white, because I don't want to just leave it white. Also, it looks just better when it's colored. Oh, it's the wrong side. I really like this combo for the off-white things, not when I want to color something grayish, but more of the idea of being white. It isn't a white, but it's more of a white than I would use a standard gray. And I also like to use my colorless blender to blend out this bottom part, so it blends to white.
Sophie is very intrigued to see how you use the umbrella separately.
Yeah, I will show that in my new video. It's coming up on Friday, so keep an eye on that. I can tell you it's very cute, and I think Jordi thinks so too. He already has seen it. I will show him without you guys seeing it.
Ah, yeah. Yes, it is indeed very cute.
Let's see. Make this a little darker than the rest. So blend that out. I'll put these back real quick. Otherwise it gets so messy on my desk. Let's see, the water. I like to use these two. They are very, very light, but you can use them together to blend it a little. So again, I stamped these out with a Memento color. It's a Summer Sky. And Memento is perfect for Copic coloring, even the colored ones. And I blend this out with the lighter one. It's a very, very light color, and it may look a little messy because the alcohol makes it wet, and then it looks a little weird, and then it dries, and then it looks good. Let's put these back. When I'm done with the coloring, I like to go over the inner lines with a black fine liner. Because of the paper I'm using, it's different for every paper, but with my paper it's really smooth and has a little bit of a sort of coating. And when I'm coloring things, it sometimes gets a little dull. And it often happens with darker colors, so it isn't too bad right now. So I'm not going to do all the lines, but just the lines for like this, the bear to the raincoat, and here with his legs and his boots. But I'm not doing all the lines of the raincoat because I used a light color and isn't necessary. Same with the umbrella, let's do these, but not all the inner lines. They are looking fine, so just leave them. And maybe this part. So. Oh, and his eyes. I always like to do his eyes. And his nose. Now I'm going in with a white gel pen. I use two different ones. I have a new one for all the very light parts like with the water. I use normally a Polska paint pen, that's this one. but my local store was out and this one is empty, so I couldn't get that. And she said, try this one, and it works really well. It's also some kind of paint, kind of ink that's coming out. Like you can see, it's very, very white, and that's what we need on a lighter surface. So that's that. And then I'm using my regular one for all the other highlights. I always go in the roundness of things, and like this with the heel of the boot. It doesn't really matter where you put them, just give them a little thought where you want them.
Moisey says that they can see the difference when you go over the image with the pen, but they don't think they have a steady enough hand to do it themselves.
Oh, I can totally imagine. I sometimes go out of the line as well, and I have to stamp out the image again and color it again. But in general, I have a steady hand for that, so I can imagine that you don't dare to do the lines. But what you can try is do the eyes, for example, to make them pop just a little more.
What Fionella does is they put the images back in the stamping platform and go over it with Versa Fine.
Yeah, that's also a good way to do it. Just stamp over the lines again. His hands. And now for the umbrella. Let's see. I think that's enough. So let's get the dies to cut everything out. I have a little trouble to line this one up because I don't think you can see it, but it's just a little off right here. So here is the border thicker than on the downside of the umbrella. So I have to line it up just a little differently. I think I have to contact Lawn Fawn to get a replacement. It sometimes happens, and they're also very kind in that kind of thing, so if you ever have something like that, they will send you a new one. This has to be the other way around. in general it's a little hard on camera to put everything in the right spot, but I think I'll have it right now. I die cut it off screen because that's easier for me. And there we have it. Well, that turned out nice. So I put it a little more down because this part was higher, and that did it. That did the trick. Let's put this aside. This as well. So the next step is making a background with Rainy stencil. So this is my panel, and I'm going to blend that with Distress Oxide first. So I did the two colors first, and then I went over with the stencil. So put this aside for now, and let's get a little container for my die-cutted images. So we can put those aside as well. Let's use this as a thing for the blending. I used tumbled glass and salvage patina. I think they're really pretty to blend together. So I like to start with my darkest color. So that's salvage patina. And I'm blending that on for about halfway, just a little over. So you can blend together the... I think I have to refill my tumbled glass because it's a little hard to get some ink on.
Fiona asks if you have seen the new saltwater taffy color.
Yes, I've seen it and I really like it. I don't have too many pinks in my Distress Oxides, and I saw that it was a little lighter than worn lipstick. So I might get that one. So I go back and forth with both colors to blend them together.
And Maisie also says that it's perfect for spring and summer.
Yes, it is, yeah. It's a really nice color, and I think it will blend great with other colors in my stash. So let's put these aside. And let's get the Rainy stencil. I'm not blending all the way down. So let's put the magnets there. Maybe put one here and one here so the stencil is held down properly. And then I take a blending brush because I like using blending brushes on stencils. It gives you a little more control and you have less ink on your brush. And I use Mermaid Lagoon to brush on the raindrops. And I'm going in very, very lightly because I don't want it as dark. I stamped out the splash with Mermaid Lagoon as well, and I don't want the raindrops to be as dark as that one. So I'm going in very light. And I also don't want to have a really harsh line where I will stop the blending because I don't want to go all the way down. So I'm just doing a very light blend and I'm stopping like halfway a drop. So you have a nice sort of gradient. Let's see. Just a little.
And we have Gina joining us from Canada.
Hi Gina. That's alright. I'm cleaning my stencil later. And this one too.
And Marcy asks, what are the measurements of the mini slimline?
Let me check. It's the one from the Flippin' Awesome add-on. And it's almost 4 inches by a little more than 2. So it's really, really small. Let me check with one of the mini slimline sets, or both. These are the mini slimline sets from Lawn Fawn. And this is compared to that. So it's like almost this width, maybe this one, but just a little shorter. So that's why I call it a mini slimline. Let's go on with the sentiment. I have a little bit of a fold what I got with blending, but since the bear is going to be there, it will be covered up. So let's not worry about that. But it might be a little harder to get it right into my Misty. But this is okay. So, like I said before, I used the Mermaid for You flip-flop. And I'm putting them down both, so I know they're in a good place, and then I take one off and I stamp one and then I put back the other one because I have 2 different colors. Make A is going to be with black and Splash is going to be with Mermaid Lagoon. Maybe a little higher. This is alright, so I take off the splash for now. I'm just taking my Lawn Fawn jet black ink. I'm stamping it multiple times till I have a nice crisp sentiment. one more time. That looks good. So put that back. Clean off my stamp with a chamois. Now I'm taking a splash. And like I said, I'm going to stamp that one with Mermaid Lagoon. And I stamped that one multiple times as well, till I have a nice crisp splash. One more time. Yeah, that looks good. So clean off my stamp real quick. And my Misty door, I always get ink on my Misty door. Tell me I'm not the only one. Please. So now I can assemble it. So this is the scalloped piece from the Flippin' Awesome add-on. And I made a top fold card base out of craft paper. It just gives a little border around, like you can see.
You are not the only one that gets ink on the Misty.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I always have ink on it. I'm using my ATG for this. I'm making it just a little less sticky, so I can position it just a little better. I'm using my sleeve for that. And now I want to do this with tin foam tape. I always say tin foam tape because I have 3 different kind of thicknesses. So this is 1 millimeter, this is 2, and this is 3. This one I use for shaker cards and the reveal wheel, for example. And this is my normal giving a little dimension tape. So that's the tin foam tape. I'm cutting that with my new scissors, which is really awesome because it doesn't stick to adhesive. This is slightly too big. And let's put one in the middle. Now pull off the backing and I go back in with my sleeve to make it a little less sticky. Because I noticed when I do this, it doesn't get stuck to the paper right away, so you have a little more wiggle room to get it in the right spot. Let me check if I... Yes. I think it's good right here. It's a little bit hard to see with the lighting of the video. But I think that went well. So here are my images. You could do these with thin foam tape as well if you would like. I just want to stick them down with some liquid glue. And first I'm going to stick the bear to the two splashes, or to the water bottle and the splash. That's because I then can just take the whole thing and position it on my card instead of aiming where I want the puddle and the splash to be before I can adhere the bear to it. Let's see. Something like this. And now I can glue him to my card. I want the umbrella to stick out a little on the right side, but I also want the puddle on the left. So, like this. And I take my tweezers to do the drops of water. And I want those off that rectangle for a bit as well, to give it a little dimension. Everything is a little higher than on my original, but that's fine. I'm not a machine. And this looks really cute as well. Well, to finish it off, I like to use some glossy accents on the puddle and on the splash and on the water drops to make it a little more look, giving the look of being wet. I think it's clogged, so let me put a pin in. I'm not going to do the whole puddle, just a little corner here. Smear it out a little, something like this. Same with the splash, just a little accents. Oh, that wasn't glued down properly.
Marcy likes the idea of adhering the other elements to the main image first.
Yeah, it really gives you a little more control over where to put everything. So I like to lay down everything and then merge images together, glue them together, and then assemble the whole scene. And I also like to take a picture of when I put everything down, so I can look at the picture and see where I wanted everything to be.
And people also like your addition of the shiny puddles.
Like that. and that only has to dry a little, but it's finished. So as you can see, it's really shiny and really makes the puddle and the splashes look wet. So even though it's a small card with a different texture of my background, it is watercolor paper. I think I didn't mention that, but this is watercolor paper with a little texture. And by putting the panel off with a little thin foam tape to give it a little dimension, and then using the glossy accents, it really gives something special to the card. So let's put the two together. This is my original one. You can see it really compares to each other, just a little different placement of the umbrella. But that's it. This is the finished card. If you have any questions, please let me know before I end the live. I will be happy to answer your questions. Sophie says, taking a picture can be so helpful when laying down elements. Yes, it really, when you're happy with your placement, just take a picture so you can look back and you don't have to stress out when you're gluing things down that you don't remember where you wanted to put anything. Melissa says, got this stamp set yesterday, I'm ready to play with it now. Enjoy, Melissa. Marcy also said, love the craft paper for the base too. Love it. Yeah, I used to use a white paper, but I really went to craft paper. I really like the look of it. It's wonderful. Thank you for another great live. Thank you. I'm happy you all were here. If there aren't any more questions, I'm going to round it up. Thank you for joining. I really had fun with you guys, and I really enjoyed making the card with you, and I hope I inspired you with this card. Melissa got inspired, so that's just the point for me. And I'm really happy with that. Even if I just inspire one person, it really makes my day. So thank you for joining. If you aren't a subscriber yet, please do so to support my channel. And I see you soon. Bye bye.